The puppet, one of the creepiest FNAF animatronics. Really, you know what? I don't know what's with this thing, okay? It looks like it has tentacles, especially in its nightmare form. But what do we know about this thing? Quite a lot, actually. I was gonna say nothing, but it's not true. We know quite a bit. But the things that we know have changed over time. So, what did we know before Security Breach came out? And probably before a couple other games. That's what we're exploring today. These aren't updated because they're old, but like, I'll explain if they're not updated, okay? In at 10, not first. Apparently, unlike everyone in the YouTube comments, the puppet was not indeed first. Well, the first victim of William Afton. At least that's what we thought at the time. And while that idea did vanish before Security Breach came out, let me explain why we thought that the puppet wasn't the first victim. Because we thought it ended up being Chica, because she told us so in Ultimate Custom Night, saying that she was the first and has seen everything. Which is pretty weird when you think about it. Like, I don't know why we thought that Susie was gonna be the first one to die. It should have been Charlotte, and it was Charlotte, but that one line messed everything up. Like, why is it that every time we think we have something right about the series, and then like we have it locked in, and that like it's established within the community, Scott ends up like just throwing it down the drain, or making us think that he does. Like, it happened with the puppet in this instance, and it happened with the identity of Michael Afton multiple times. Like, every time we think we have something figured out, unless it's been directly confirmed by Scott in like a Reddit post, he throws it out the window. Well, like on like our first assumptions that the puppet was first. But then he threw it out the window, and then he went out and then threw it back in. And at 9, give life. From the FNAF 2 minigame, Give Gifts, Give Life, we can tell that the puppet, while being the first, because they were the first, okay? The puppet was the first, but it was also the one who brought the other animatronics to life in the suits, or at least gave them the ability to move. We see that the children lay dead on the ground, and then the puppet goes to give them gifts to cheer them up, because they look sad, because, you know, they're dead. But when that doesn't work, the puppet, for some reason, is like, oh damn, they must be dead-o, let's bring them back to life in the animatronic suits or something, which it's pretty interesting from a lore standpoint, since what we know about Remnant, because like they were in the suits, they had possessed the suits, but I guess maybe the puppet activated their Remnant, something like that. I mean, there weren't really any Remnant based animatronics after this, because the Fun Times aren't possessed, and then the only one that gets possessed is Springtrap. So hey, I don't know, it sounds weird. Maybe they didn't originally suffer enough and the puppet had to spark them, which sounds even worse. Oh man, like, well, the FNAF series will literally do anything at this point, so I can never know. But you know what? None of this is as fun as killing Braith in Skyrim.
What a deviation from the script.
And it ain't behind the mask. Do you want to know who's behind the mask? Do you, like, really want to know? Because you already know, people. Come on, I literally said it earlier. It's Charlotte. Yeah. Like, okay, I mentioned it, I mentioned the name of Charlotte, but you knew that already. It's not like this channel is introducing you to FNAF right now. You're all here because matpat isn't uploading any new FNAF videos, okay? Either way, the one hidden behind the puppet mask is Charlotte, Henry's daughter, as revealed in the original FNAF novel trilogy. We technically don't know her official name in the games, since her grave was blurred out in the gravestone ending of FNAF 6, but nevertheless, it's still Henry's daughter, as told to us by Henry himself during the final monologue of the real FNAF 6 ending. We know that this is Henry speaking, not only because he calls the puppet his daughter, but also because in the Insanity ending we hear an audio file play, and on the monitor, the actual computer file is labeled as HRY223, and HRY in this instance would mean Henry. So yes, Charlotte, or Charlie, is the puppet. And at 7, their appearance. The puppet has a very simple design, okay? Dark, black fabric covering the body, or like covering the endoskeleton. I guess it has an endoskeleton. I don't want to see the puppet's endoskeleton, that just seems weird. The only deviation from that is a couple of white stripes near the wrists, and then the mask. See, even dead kids possessing puppet animatronics will wear masks, people. The mask is simple yet a freaky design. It has solid black empty eyes and purple streaks running down like the side of those like voids. It's like, I don't know what that is. Like, it's supposed to be tears, but it's not the crying child. So like, what the hell? Plus, it has red cheeks and then some like, it's like some damn demonic Pikachu level crap, okay? And then it has a mouth that makes me not want to know what that mouth do. because it's probably gonna eat my face. Okay, this is a creepy animatronic, especially when it's presented in the right way, like when it's walking down the hall in FNAF VR. But other than that, if it's just chilling in the music box, it's relatively fine, even if it's poking its head out. Like, why is it that people like use nursery rhymes to make things scary? Okay, like Pop Goes the Weasel, for example. That wasn't scary. That wasn't intended to be scary. Why do people use it when it like in a creepy situation? It's not okay. All right, children are already scary enough. I almost got stabbed by one when I was working in an elementary school. Okay, well, I mean working. I was doing co-op, but then like some kid came at me with scissors. Okay, I thought it was a joke, but no, that was the teacher wasn't around. He just came at me. But luckily, they were safety scissors. It's like I would have put that kid on the ground. Okay, I really wanted to. I just boom, you know.
Uppercut him instead of flying across the portable. Boom. Call me William Afton. Just.
I would have done it. And it's 6 key player. When we talk about FNAF, you usually think about the core 4 animatronic. The ones that have had multiple versions of themselves made and appear to be in basically every game, aside from Chica and Sister Location, I guess, and Bonnie in Security Breach. I don't know, I guess Scott might have been a little too worried about the fan art, especially based on Bonnie x Chica, which is a whole other can of worms. And you know what? Y'all need to be sorted out for that. That's weird. However, even though she got introduced in the second game, the puppet has been present in at least 6 out of the 8 FNAF games, appearing in FNAF 2, FNAF 3, FNAF 4 as Nightmare On, FNAF 6 in the Security Puppet minigame, Ultimate Custom Night, FNAF VR, Help Wanted, and FNAF 1 in the form of the poster that can sometimes appear on the wall. And they've actually kind of been in FNAF Security Breach if you count the like the discontinued staff bots, like the broken ones that have like the in your dreams written on them, like the Vanny bots, the Vanny versions of the bots. Yeah, she was also in Security Breach. So yeah, the puppet has been a pretty core character, if I do say so myself. At least, you know what I do. Screw it, I say it myself. Halfway through into number 5, first. While we thought that Charlotte may not have been the first victim of William Afton, she was still, at least at that point in our minds, the first to possess any animatronic. This was shown to us in the Security Puppet minigame, where we see the puppet and Charlie combine after she was brutally killed by Afton outside the Fazbear joint. And with what we knew about Remnant and Agony, how the true possession only comes from intense pain and emotion in the form of agony, we can be damn well sure that she was in agonizing pain when she was killed. Not only was she, like, you know, stabbed at the hands of her father's friend and business partner, but she was also stuck outside of her favorite place on Earth, somewhere that was literally designed to defend her. But the security puppet was blocked off by an unknown source, okay? Maybe it was just a couple of bullies who wanted a girl out of their fun, maybe it was Afton setting it up. Who knows? Either way, she was in agony. So much so that when she died, she was instantly able to possess an animatronic that was designed to defend her. So much that it sacrificed its life crawling inside the rain, and it's like Henry coded himself into the puppet, but that's a theory for another day. Especially when Glitchtrap is sentient code. Maybe Henry is sentient code in like the puppet, kind of. And at 4, Lefty. The Lefty animatronic is actually an acronym, L-E-F-T-E. It stands for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract. So before you go off into the comments saying that the number is spelt wrong, it's not, okay? We spelt it exactly right. It's just more commonly written with a Y. This version of Freddy, which technically it is because it's a bear, don't come at me, okay? Any bear with Freddy characteristics is a version of Freddy in my eyes. Anyway, this bear was specifically designed by Henry to emit the bracelet code that corresponds with the one that Charlotte was wearing, as we see in the Security Puppet minigame, the green one. Then we use that bracelet to lure the puppet, which has Charlotte inside, towards us to capture her. Then we bring her to the pizzeria from Pizzeria Simulator so then we can free her soul. This line is such a good example of context and delivery. Like the way that I kind of put that is nice. Like he wants to free her soul. But if I was like to say something like capture her and then bring her to the pizzeria so that she could burn with the rest, which is still true, that sounds a lot more sinister. So it just goes to show you that maybe you need a little bit more perspective on everything you read or hear or do or experience. You're welcome. Getting close to the end in number 3, creation. The creation of the puppet is very straightforward. I've been kind of saying it this whole video. Charlotte was brutally killed outside of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, as seen in the FNAF 2 minigame of Take Cake, where Freddy is tasked with bringing cake to crying children, while we helplessly watch her get killed outside of the joint by none other than, you guessed it, Matthew Perry. not really. But that's what takes us to the events of the security puppet minigame from FNAF 6, where we see that the puppet actually heads out back after this to find the body of Charlotte, and then it falls next to her. Well, it falls first and then it crawls over to her, allowing her to live on by possessing it, which potentially then takes us to Midnight Motorist, which makes me think that Crying Child saw Charlotte being killed by his father, since she was at the Fazbear restaurants and then the game was called later that night and he was already gone. But again, that's not certain. That's a theory we've already talked about, I think. But ultimately, in number 2, fan versions. While the normal puppet animatronic may not be scary per se, the fan-made versions of the character are damn freaky. Take the character of the Reaper puppet, for example, from Final Nights 3 and 4. The scrapped Withered puppet that was showcased by Amanda in the top 10 scary FNAF fan animatronics part 2 from ages ago, or literally any other animatronic puppet that has ever been created, okay? I don't know how people are so easily able to make this damn thing so freaking terrifying. I usually don't include fan-made versions as a number on fact lists, but you know, for some reason, so many people want to make terrifying versions of the puppet. Like, what about the Havoc puppet from Dermitibus? Have you seen that thing? It's like the spiders in Australia got their hands on the illicit substances that bodybuilders use. If you're mad about like weird phrasing, blame YouTube, not me. Okay, this puppet has got me unable to speak. And finally, in number 1, family ties. The puppet is one of the few dead kids to have a connection to someone important in the series, the others being members of the Afton family. The puppet, on the other hand, is a member of the Emily family. Well, at least according to the book, their last name is Emily, but who cares at this point? Out of everything we want answered, you decide to give us Henry's last name? Like, we legit have a whole few lists about the top 10 FNAF unanswered questions, mysteries, things we want to know, but yeah, tell us this. Tell us their last name. Also, you should go check out those videos, by the way. However, Charlotte has more of a connection to anyone than anyone else in the series. I mean, she is Henry's daughter, the mastermind behind the animatronics of the Freddy restaurants, and then she was killed by William Afton, the business partner to her father. She was also probably friends with the kids that go on to be the missing children since their parents were together so much. She was also probably friends with Afton's kids since their parents were together so much, and you know what, just because it's Scott, she was probably friends with the 5 missing children from 1985. So yeah, and then she also brings life to them, so yeah, you know what, I count it. That's all, that's it. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Charlemagne Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. It's time for the weekend, I'm tired. Okay, let me do a dramatic intro. The puppet. Well, I don't want my glasses to fly. But the only deviation from that is just like a couple of white stripes near the wrists. I can speak words.